Welcome to Pastor Jerome TV. I'm your host, Pastor Jerome Davison. So Tom Brady solidifies himself as the greatest quarterback in the NFL history. He surpasses Joe Montana, who has 4 championship rings. He has 5, but he did this by coming back from the greatest deficit in NFL history. And he had his head down in the first half. He was losing, but everybody knows how the Patriots operate. They go in at halftime, they make some halftime adjustments, and they come back and whoop them up. But I'm sure every NFL team, 32 teams, 31 teams, are hitting themselves upside the head like they should have had a V8, because Tom Brady wasn't drafted until the 6th round of the NFL draft when he came out of Michigan. And everybody, those of us who played in the NFL knows, when you go to the combine, they're measuring everything. They're measuring your chest size, they're measuring your hand size, they're measuring your speed, they measure how you could jump, they measure your thought process. But there was something that they couldn't measure with Tom Brady, and they overlooked it. They overlooked his inner workings, or his competitive nature. They overlooked his intelligence, and that's the way people do. People are so used to trying to look for the tangibles. They're looking for the fastest. They're looking for the richest. They're looking for the tallest. They're looking for the best of the best. But sometimes the best of the best are hidden or concealed in something that's not all that attractive. It's Valentine's and people are looking for love, but let me say something to you. Sometimes valuable things and valuable people are overlooked because they don't have what the world really thinks is valuable. Remember, Jesus was born in a manger. He was God. He was Emmanuel, God among us, and he was born in a manger, wrapped in cheap clothing. But only wise men came to worship him. And remember David, his older brothers, all of them was built like big football players and models. And surely Samuel says, surely God's anointing is on this one, and God's anointing is on that one. And God says, don't do that, because man looks on the outward, but God looks on the inner. And so he says, we won't rest until David comes from the back with the sheep. And here comes David, no doubt with sheep poop on the bottom of his sandals. And he wasn't as tall as his brothers, and he wasn't as popular as his brothers. But when Samuel raised the horn of oil over his head, the anointing flowed down on David, because God saw something in him that man overlooked. And Tom Brady was overlooked by 32 teams. Let's say he wasn't drafted in the 6th round, so 32 teams overlooked him 5 times, 5 rounds. And now he is the greatest quarterback in NFL history. And so let that be a lesson to all of us. Sometimes you have to look for greater value. You have to have a discerning heart. You've got to be a discerning person. Stop looking on the outward, but let God give you discernment when it comes to people. Just because somebody's rich and just because somebody's playing ball or famous or an actor doesn't mean that they're pure and that they're right. And just because somebody has, church, they know all the church lingo or they're church educated, doesn't mean that they're God's anointed. So that's a mature mindset. I'm telling you something about a mature mindset. Only mature Christians could really understand, the value of having discernment. And so, congratulations to Tom Brady at becoming the greatest quarterback in NFL history. And congratulations to the New England Patriots for seeing the value in this man that everybody else overlooked for 6 rounds. And now he has made history, world history, in becoming the greatest quarterback that the NFL has ever seen. And so let us all just put on mature mindsets. I'm Pastor Jerome. Please subscribe, like, and share. God bless.